Hey, Paula Rizzo here, and I wanted to give you a couple of tips on how to handle an on-camera interview in a studio because I just did it myself. So I'm practicing what I preach. So I'm going to tell you how I prepared for this interview. So I have a brand new book that's coming out called Listful Living, a list-making journey to a less stressed you. And I was fortunate enough to get booked on a show that I actually produced for a very long time over at Fox News Channel called Health Talk. And I was there with my former boss, Dr. Manny Alvarez. So, of course, it was a warm environment, but I still needed to practice and I still needed to make sure that I showed up, had all my facts ready, and that I felt really comfortable. So, here is how I prepared for that. A couple of days before, I actually wrote a script out of what it is that I wanted the anchor to say. So I wrote an intro and I wrote questions, and I actually shared that with the producer. And that's not typical, okay? It's because I'm a TV producer that I can do that kind of thing. I get it, totally different from everybody. But you need to start thinking like a TV producer. In how can you help to produce this segment so it's really great? So I took the questions and I started to answer them. And what I did was I set up my camera, my iPhone. I just set up my iPhone and I would ask the question out loud and then I would answer it directly to the camera and give myself a little bit of time to formulate an answer before I jumped in and then watch the video back. And I did this over and over and over again for each of the questions so that I could see how I reacted. Did I stumble? Was I saying weird examples? What was it that I was doing or saying? It's very important to watch yourself. So that is 100% something that you should do if you're looking to get ready for a TV segment, if you get booked. Start practicing, even if these are questions that they're not going to ask you, because that's actually what happened to me. I went in, I sat down with Dr. Manny, and he didn't ask me any of the questions that were on that list, which was to be expected because I've worked with him for a very long time. And as his producer, I remember he would do that all the time. So I was sort of prepared for an off-the-cuff conversation, but make sure that you know your stuff. Even if they ask, this is what I say to all my media training clients, it shouldn't matter what questions they ask you. You have great answers. So all you have to do is think about what are your talking points? What are the things that you really want to get across? And so for me, it was very much, how can you make lists so that you have a less stressed life and that you're more productive. And so I had a couple of examples in there of how I make lists better and how I'm able to, be less stressed out and the examples that I have in the book, but also in my personal life. And so I think it went pretty well. I'll share the segment with you so you could see it as well, but I just wanted to give you a couple of little pointers on how I got prepared for that. And also I didn't want to waste the hair and makeup. That's one thing I learned as a producer. Never waste good hair and makeup. So I hope this was helpful.